Imagine your mind as a vast, deep ocean. On the surface, you see waves of thoughts always moving and changing, but beneath those waves lies a whole world of calm and stillness. This is consciousness, the deep, quiet awareness that's always there, even when our thoughts are noisy. It's like the ocean itself, while our thoughts are just the waves on top. Now you might be thinking, oh, why should I care about this? My thoughts are important, and you're right, they are. But there's so much more to who we are than just our thoughts. When we start to explore our consciousness, it's like diving into that ocean. We discover amazing things about ourselves and the world around us. It's not about learning new facts or skills. It's about uncovering a part of ourselves that's always been there waiting to be noticed. Here's the thing. If we never look beyond our usual thoughts, we might miss out on something incredible. It's like having a treasure chest in your attic, but never opening it. Understanding consciousness is like opening that chest. Inside, you might find inner peace, happiness, and a whole new way of seeing the world. But let's be honest, this journey isn't always easy. It means facing parts of ourselves we might not like or understand at first. It's like cleaning out a messy room. At first, it might seem overwhelming, but once you start, you find things you forgot you had, and the room feels so much better when it's done. So, what do we mean when we talk about consciousness? It's actually pretty simple, even though it might sound complicated. Consciousness is like being awake inside your own mind. It's not just about thinking. It's about being aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and everything around you. Think about it this way. Right now you're reading these words, you're aware that you're reading. You might also be aware of sounds around you, how your body feels, or emotions you're experiencing. That awareness, that's consciousness. It's like a light that's always on inside you, letting you experience everything in your world. But consciousness goes even deeper than that. It's also about being aware of being aware. Sounds a bit weird, right? But it's true. It's like you can step back and notice your own noticing. This is where things get really interesting. When we start paying attention to our consciousness, we begin to see things differently. We might notice patterns in our thoughts we never saw before. We might realize that some of the things we believed about ourselves aren't actually true. It's like putting on a pair of glasses for the first time and seeing the world clearly. This awareness can be incredibly powerful. It can help us understand why we feel certain ways or why we react to things the way we do. It's like becoming the director of your own life movie instead of just being an actor following a script. You might be wondering, why should I spend time exploring my consciousness? I've got enough to deal with in my daily life. And that's a fair question. But here's the thing. Understanding your consciousness can actually make dealing with daily life much easier. Going deeper into our minds is like cleaning a muddy pond. At first, the water is all stirred up and you can't see anything clearly. But as the mud settles, the water becomes clear, and suddenly you can see all the way to the bottom. In the same way as we explore our consciousness, our minds become clearer. We start to see our thoughts, feelings, and reactions more clearly. This clarity can help in so many ways. It can reduce stress because we're not as caught up in every little thought. It can improve our relationships because we understand ourselves and others better. It can even help us make better decisions because we're more in touch with what we really want and need. Exploring consciousness is really a journey of self-discovery. It's like being an explorer in your own inner world. Just like explorers in the past discovered new lands, you can discover new things about yourself. This journey can be full of surprises. You might find strengths you didn't know you had. You might uncover old fears or beliefs that have been holding you back without you realizing it. It's like opening doors in a house you've lived in for years but never fully explored. And the best part? This journey never really ends. There's always more to discover, more to understand. It's a lifelong adventure that can keep life interesting and meaningful. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds nice, but how does it help me in my everyday life? Good question. The benefits of exploring consciousness are actually very practical. First, it can help with stress and anxiety. When we're more aware of our thoughts and feelings, we can catch ourselves before we spiral into worry or panic. It's like having a pause button for your mind. Second, it can improve focus and concentration. By training our minds to be more aware, we get better at staying on task and not getting distracted. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. Third, it can boost creativity. When we're not stuck in our usual thought patterns, we're more open to new ideas and solutions. It's like clearing out mental clutter to make room for new creative thoughts. Lastly, it can lead to better relationships. When we understand ourselves better, we're often more patient and understanding with others. It's like having a user manual for your own mind, and that can help you understand other people's manuals too. Our minds are like onions. They have many layers. On the top layer, we have our everyday thoughts. These are the thoughts we're usually aware of: what we need to do today, what we're going to eat for lunch, worries about work or school. This layer is often pretty noisy and busy. But beneath that top layer, there are deeper layers. These layers are quieter, but they have a big influence on how we think and feel. They include our beliefs about ourselves and the world, our memories and our unconscious patterns of behavior. Many of us spend most of our time in that top noisy layer. We're so caught up in our daily thoughts that we don't notice these deeper layers. But when we start to explore our consciousness, we begin to access these deeper parts of ourselves. Imagine you're in a noisy room with lots of people talking. That's like the top layer of our minds. Lots of thoughts all competing for attention. Now imagine you step out of that room into a quiet garden. At first, you might still hear the noise from inside, but as you stay in the garden, you start to notice other sounds: birds singing, leaves rustling. This is like accessing the deeper layers of our minds. In these quieter layers, we can find insights and understanding that we miss when we're caught up in our noisy thoughts. We might realize why we keep making the same mistakes, or suddenly understand a problem we've been struggling with. Exploring these layers isn't always easy. Sometimes we find things we'd rather not see, old hurts or fears we've been avoiding. But facing these things can help us grow and heal in powerful ways. One of the most interesting parts of our mind is the subconscious. This is the part of our mind that works behind the scenes, influencing our thoughts and behaviors without us realizing it. Our subconscious is like a powerful computer that's always running in the background. It stores all our memories, habits, and beliefs. It's the reason we can do things like drive a car or type on a keyboard without thinking about every little movement. But the subconscious can also hold us back. It might hold on to old fears or limiting beliefs that we formed long ago. By exploring our consciousness, we can start to access and change these subconscious patterns. Our beliefs play a huge role in shaping our experience of life, and many of our most powerful beliefs are hidden in the deeper layers of our minds. These beliefs act like filters, coloring how we see the world and ourselves. For example, if you have a deep-down belief that you're not good enough, it might affect everything you do. You might not try new things because you assume you'll fail. You might have trouble accepting compliments because they don't fit with your belief about yourself. But here's the good news. When we become aware of these beliefs, we can change them. It's like finding the root cause of a problem instead of just dealing with the symptoms. By exploring our consciousness, we can uncover these hidden beliefs and start to change the ones that don't serve us. Now let's talk about something really important: the difference between our thoughts and our consciousness. This idea can be a bit tricky to grasp at first, but it's super important. Think of your mind as a big sky. Your thoughts are like clouds in that sky. They come and go, change shape, sometimes gather into storms, other times drift away, leaving the sky clear. But here's the key: you are not the clouds, you are the sky. Your consciousness is like that sky, always there, vast and open, no matter what thoughts, clouds, are passing through it. This is a really powerful idea because it means that no matter how stormy our thoughts get, there's always a part of us that's calm and clear. When we start to explore our consciousness, we often notice something interesting. There seems to be a part of us that can observe our own thoughts and feelings. It's like we can step back and watch our mind at work. This observer is a key part of consciousness. It's the part of you that can notice, "Oh, I'm having an angry thought," or "I'm feeling anxious right now." This might not sound like much, but it's actually a superpower. Why? Because when we can observe our thoughts and feelings, we're no longer completely caught up in them. We have a choice. We can choose to engage with a thought or let it pass by. We can notice our feelings without being overwhelmed by them. There's a famous quote that goes, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." This is what exploring consciousness is all about, finding and expanding that space. Most of the time we react to things automatically. Something happens, stimulus, and we react, response, without even thinking about it. But when we're more aware, we can create a pause between the stimulus and our response. In that pause, we have the power to choose how we want to react. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It means we're no longer at the mercy of our automatic reactions. We can choose to respond in ways that are more helpful, more kind, more in line with who we want to be. One of the most powerful tools for exploring consciousness is focusing on the present moment. This might sound easy. After all, we're always in the present moment, right? But actually, our minds spend a lot of time thinking about the past or worrying about the future. When we really focus on the present moment, we step out of our stream of thoughts and into direct experience. We notice the sensations in our body, the sounds around us, the feeling of our breath. This is a direct way to experience consciousness. Being present isn't about forcing our minds to be empty. It's about noticing what's happening right now, both around us and inside us. It's like waking up from a daydream and suddenly realizing, "Oh, I'm here." There's incredible power in being fully present. When we're present, we're not caught up in regrets about the past or worries about the future. We're fully engaged with what's happening right now. This can bring a sense of peace and aliveness that's hard to describe, but amazing to experience. Being present also helps us respond to life more effectively. When we're fully aware of what's happening now, we can make better decisions. We're not reacting based on old patterns or future fears, but on what's actually happening in this moment. Practicing presence is like building a muscle. At first, it might be hard to stay present for more than a few seconds, but with practice, we can learn to be present more and more of the time. This is one of the most powerful ways to explore and deepen our consciousness. As we explore consciousness, we start to notice an interesting dance between our thoughts and our awareness. Sometimes we're caught up in our thoughts, like being carried along by a strong river. Other times we're able to step back and just watch those thoughts flow by. This dance is natural and normal. The goal isn't to stop thinking. Our thoughts are useful and important. The goal is to have a choice about when to engage with our thoughts and when to just let them be. It's like being at a party. Sometimes you're in the middle of the dance floor, fully engaged in the music and movement. Other times, you might step back and watch the dance from the side. Both experiences are valuable, and you get to choose when to do each. Exploring consciousness isn't always easy. It can be challenging to face parts of ourselves we've been avoiding. It takes practice to learn how to be more aware and present. Sometimes we might feel like we're not making progress, but the rewards are incredible. As we become more conscious, we often find a deep sense of peace and contentment. We become less reactive and more responsive. We understand ourselves and others better. We might even start to experience moments of profound connection and insight. Remember, this is a journey without a final destination. There's always more to discover, more to understand. But each step on the path can bring more clarity, more peace, and more aliveness. And that makes it a journey worth taking. You might be wondering how all this fits into daily life. After all, we can't spend all our time meditating or contemplating our consciousness. The beauty of this exploration is that it doesn't require you to change your whole life. Instead, it changes how you experience your life. As you become more aware, you might notice small changes. Maybe you catch yourself before you say something hurtful in an argument. Maybe you notice the beauty of a sunset that you would have missed before. Maybe you find yourself feeling calmer in situations that used to stress you out. These small changes can add up to a big difference in how you experience life. It's like upgrading the operating system on your computer. Everything runs a bit smoother and more efficiently. As we become more conscious, it doesn't just affect us, it affects everyone around us too. When we're more aware and present, we tend to be kinder, more patient, and more understanding. This can improve our relationships with family, friends, and co-workers. It's like dropping a pebble in a pond. The ripples spread out, affecting more and more of the water. In the same way, as we become more conscious, it creates ripples that affect more and more of our life and the lives of those around us. This doesn't mean everything becomes perfect. Life still has its challenges, but we become better equipped to handle those challenges. We're less likely to get knocked off balance by life's ups and downs. Exploring consciousness is a lifelong journey. There's always more to discover, more to understand. But that's what makes it exciting. It's like being an explorer in a vast, beautiful land. Every day brings new discoveries. As you continue on this journey, remember to be patient and kind with yourself. Some days you might feel very aware and present. Other days you might feel caught up in your thoughts. That's all part of the process. The key is to keep exploring, keep noticing, keep being curious about your own consciousness. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. Many people throughout history have explored these same depths. There are books, teachers, and practices that can help guide you. But the most important guide is your own experience. Trust what you discover about yourself. Exploring consciousness isn't about reaching a final goal. It's about enriching your experience of life, moment by moment. It's about waking up to the incredible reality of being alive, here and now. And that's an adventure that never gets old. Understanding the layers of mind. Our minds are like a fascinating multi-layered cake. Each layer has its own flavor and texture, contributing to the whole experience of who we are. Let's take a closer look at these layers and how they shape our consciousness. Imagine your mind as a pond. On the surface, there's constant movement, ripples, waves, maybe even some splashing. This is like our everyday thoughts. It's the chatter in our heads that never seems to stop. What should I have for lunch? Did I remember to lock the door? I hope I don't mess up that presentation tomorrow. This layer is what most of us are most familiar with. It's loud, it's busy, and it often demands our attention. Sometimes it feels like we're stuck here, caught in a loop of worries, plans, and random thoughts. But here's the thing. This noisy surface is just one small part of our minds. It's important, sure. These thoughts help us navigate daily life, but there's so much more going on beneath the surface. Now let's dive a bit deeper into our mind pond. As we go down, things get quieter. The noise from the surface fades away. This is where we find our deeper thoughts and feelings. In these quieter layers, we might find our beliefs about ourselves and the world. These are the ideas that shape how we see things, often without us even realizing it. For example, you might have a belief that people can't be trusted or I'm not good enough. These beliefs color everything we experience, like wearing tinted glasses. We also find our memories here, not just the ones we think about often, but also the ones we've forgotten we have. These memories can influence how we feel and act, even if we're not aware of them. At the very bottom of our mind pond, things are very still and quiet. This is the deepest layer of our consciousness. It's a place of pure awareness, free from thoughts, and even from our sense of self. This might sound a bit strange or mystical, but many people who explore their consciousness report experiencing this state. It's often described as a feeling of peace, of being connected to everything, or of just being. Reaching this deep layer isn't something that happens all the time. It might occur during deep meditation or in moments of profound insight, but knowing it's there can change how we see ourselves and our thoughts. Now let's shift our perspective a bit. Instead of a pond, let's think of our mind as a vast sky. Our thoughts are like clouds in this sky, some big and dark, others light and fluffy, all constantly changing and moving. But here's the key idea. You are not the clouds, you are the sky. Your consciousness is like the sky itself, always there, vast and open, no matter what thoughts, clouds, are passing through it. This awareness is always present, whether you're happy, sad, busy, or relaxed. Think about it. You can be aware that you're thinking, right? That awareness is different from the thoughts themselves. It's the space in which thoughts happen. This idea can be really powerful. It means that no matter how stormy our thoughts get, there's always a part of us that's calm and clear. We're not at the mercy of our thoughts. We can observe them, like watching clouds pass by. When we start to see ourselves as the sky rather than the clouds, it can bring a sense of freedom. We don't have to get caught up in every thought that passes through our minds. We can choose which thoughts to engage with and which to let float by. This doesn't mean ignoring our thoughts or pretending they don't exist. It's more about changing our relationship with them. Instead of being swept away by every thought, we can observe them with curiosity and choose how to respond. Seeing ourselves as the sky of consciousness rather than our individual thoughts can change our whole perspective on life. It can help us stay calmer in difficult situations. It can make us less reactive and more responsive. It can even help us be more creative as we're not limited by our habitual thought patterns. This shift in perspective takes practice. Our minds are used to identifying with every thought that passes through. But with time and patience, we can learn to step back and observe our thoughts rather than being caught up in them. Now that we've talked about the layers of our mind and the nature of consciousness, you might be wondering, how do I actually explore all this? One of the most powerful tools for this exploration is meditation. When some people hear meditation, they picture someone sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop, completely empty of thoughts. But that's not really what meditation is about. At its core, meditation is simply a way of training our attention. It's like taking your consciousness to the gym. Just as we exercise our bodies to stay physically fit, we can exercise our minds to become more aware and focused. There are many different types of meditation, but most involve focusing your attention on something specific, like your breath, a word or phrase, or even a candle flame. When your mind wanders, which it will a lot, you simply notice that it's wandered and gently bring your attention back to your focus point. Meditation is like using a flashlight to explore a dark room. At first, you might only see what's right in front of you, but as you practice, you can start to illuminate more and more of the room. In the same way, meditation helps us shine the light of awareness on different parts of our minds. We might notice thoughts or feelings we weren't aware of before. We might start to see patterns in how our minds work. But remember, the goal isn't to empty your mind of thoughts. Thoughts will always come and go. The goal is to change your relationship with those thoughts. Instead of getting carried away by them, you learn to observe them with a sense of calm curiosity. Meditation isn't a quick fix. It's more like learning to play an instrument or getting in shape. It takes regular practice, and the benefits build up over time. But the benefits can be pretty amazing. People who meditate regularly often report feeling calmer and less stressed. They might find it easier to focus and be more productive. Many people say they sleep better and feel more positive overall. On a deeper level, regular meditation can help you get to know yourself better. You might start to understand why you react the way you do in certain situations. You might uncover beliefs or fears you didn't know you had. This self-knowledge can be incredibly empowering. If you're interested in trying meditation, the good news is that you can start right now, wherever you are. You don't need any special equipment or a perfect, quiet environment. Find a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a few deep breaths to help you relax. Then simply focus your attention on your breath. Notice how it feels as you breathe in and out. When you notice your mind has wandered, and it will, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Start with just a few minutes and gradually increase the time as you get more comfortable with the practice. Remember, there's no such thing as a perfect meditation. Every time you notice your mind has wandered and you bring it back, that's like doing a rep in the gym for your mind. That's the practice. Exploring consciousness through meditation is a journey that can last a lifetime. It's not always easy, but it can be incredibly rewarding. As you continue to practice, you might find that you're not just exploring your consciousness, you're expanding it, deepening it, and enriching your experience of life in profound ways. The power of now, living in the present moment. In our exploration of consciousness, we come to a powerful concept, the present moment. It's a simple idea, but one that can radically change how we experience life. Let's dive into what it means to live in the now and why it's so important. Here's a mind-bending thought. The present moment is the only time that ever really exists. The past is gone, existing only in our memories. The future hasn't happened yet, existing only in our imagination. The only real moment we ever have is right now. Yet how much of our time do we spend thinking about the past or worrying about the future? It's like we're living in a dream, caught up in thoughts about what was or what might be, instead of experiencing what is. Living in the present moment is like waking up from that dream. It's about becoming fully aware of what's happening right now. The sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and physical sensations around us. It's also about noticing our thoughts and feelings as they happen, without getting carried away by them. This might sound easy, but it's actually quite challenging. Our minds are used to wandering, jumping from thought to thought, like a monkey swinging from tree to tree. Bringing our attention back to the present moment takes practice. Why bother with this practice? The benefits can be profound. Reduced stress. When we're fully in the present, we're not worrying about the future or regretting the past. Increased enjoyment. We notice and appreciate the little joys in life that we might otherwise miss. Better focus. Being present helps us concentrate on what we're doing, leading to better performance and productivity. Improved relationships. When we're truly present with others, we listen better and connect more deeply. 5. Greater self-awareness. By noticing our thoughts and feelings as they arise, we understand ourselves better. So how can we become more present in our daily lives? Here are some practical tips. Use your senses. Regularly take a moment to notice what you can see, hear, smell, taste, and feel. Practice mindfulness. This means paying attention to what you're doing while you're doing it, whether it's eating, walking, or even brushing your teeth. Take breaths. Pause throughout the day to take a few deep breaths, focusing your attention on the sensation of breathing. Limit distractions. Try to do one thing at a time rather than multitasking. Notice your thoughts. When you catch your mind wandering, gently bring your attention back to the present moment. Remember, being present isn't about forcing your mind to be empty. It's about noticing what's happening right now, both around you and inside you. Living in the present moment isn't something you achieve once and then you're done. It's a continuous practice. Some days it will feel easier, other days more challenging. The key is to keep coming back to the present moment, again and again. As you practice, you might start to notice a shift. Colors might seem brighter, food might taste better, and you might feel more alive and connected to the world around you. This is the power of presence, and it's available to all of us in every moment. Now that we've covered the key concepts of consciousness, let's put it all into practice with a simple exercise. This exercise will help you explore your own consciousness and experience some of the ideas we've discussed. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed for about 10 minutes. You can sit in a chair or on the floor, whatever feels comfortable. The important thing is to keep your back straight but relaxed. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a few deep breaths to help you settle. Now, let's begin. Step 1. Observing your thoughts. For the first few minutes, simply observe your thoughts. Don't try to change them or push them away. Just notice them, as if you're watching clouds drift across the sky. You might notice that your thoughts jump around a lot. That's perfectly normal. Just keep observing without judgment. Step 2. Focusing on your breath. Now gently shift your attention to your breath. Notice the sensation of the air moving in and out of your body. Feel your chest or belly rising and falling. When you notice your mind has wandered, and it will, simply bring your attention back to your breath. Don't get frustrated. Noticing that your mind has wandered is part of the practice. Step 3. Expanding your awareness. After a few minutes of focusing on your breath, expand your awareness to include your whole body. Notice any sensations: warmth, coolness, tension, relaxation. Then expand your awareness even further to include the sounds around you. Notice them without trying to identify or judge them. Step 4. Resting in awareness. For the last minute or two, try to rest in pure awareness. Don't focus on anything in particular. Just be aware of being aware. This might feel strange at first, and that's okay. If you find yourself getting caught up in thoughts, gently return to this open awareness. Finishing the exercise. When you're ready to finish, take a deep breath and slowly open your eyes. Take a moment to notice how you feel. After the exercise, take some time to reflect. What did you notice about your thoughts? How did it feel to focus on your breath? Did you experience any moments of pure awareness? Remember, there are no right or wrong experiences. Whatever you noticed is valuable information about your own consciousness. This exercise is a simple way to start exploring your consciousness. With regular practice, you might start to notice changes in how you experience your thoughts, your body, and the world around you. As we come to the end of our exploration of consciousness, it's important to remember that this is just the beginning. Exploring consciousness is a lifelong journey, one that can bring profound changes to how we experience life. We've covered a lot of ground. We've looked at the layers of our mind, from the noisy surface of our everyday thoughts to the quiet depths of pure awareness. We've explored the idea that we are not our thoughts, but the awareness in which thoughts arise. We've discussed the power of meditation as a tool for exploring our consciousness and the importance of living in the present moment. But knowledge alone isn't enough. The real magic happens when we put these ideas into practice in our daily lives. It's about consistently bringing our attention back to the present moment. It's about observing our thoughts and feelings with curiosity rather than judgment. It's about cultivating a deeper awareness of ourselves and the world around us. This journey isn't always easy. There will be times when we get caught up in our thoughts, when we forget to be present, when meditation feels challenging. That's all part of the process. The key is to keep coming back to the practice with patience and kindness towards ourselves. As we continue to explore our consciousness, we might find that our experience of life begins to change. We might feel more peaceful, more alive, more connected to ourselves and others. We might find it easier to navigate life's challenges. We might discover a sense of depth and richness to our experiences that we never noticed before. Remember, there's no final destination in this journey. Each moment offers a new opportunity to wake up, to be present, to explore the vast and fascinating landscape of our own consciousness. So as you go forward from here, carry these ideas with you. Practice being present in your daily life. Take time to sit quietly and observe your mind. Treat each experience, whether pleasant or unpleasant, as an opportunity to deepen your understanding of consciousness. And most importantly, approach this journey with an open mind and a sense of curiosity. Your consciousness is a vast and wonderful territory, full of surprises and insights. Enjoy the exploration. Thank you for joining me on this journey beyond thought, into the depths of consciousness. May your continued exploration bring you insight, peace, and a richer experience of life.